morning. Welcome, everyone. We are excited to share again our choice board presentation. They have become like a household item for us, and we have seen all the great things that students are doing with their choice boards from home, on Twitter. We've had emails from teachers and AICs about how teachers are using choice boards in their schools. So we are just certainly thrilled about that. And so today we're going to talk about really, what is a choice board, the why behind a choice board. And Suzanne Kramer is going to share some ideas that she has as well about creating choice boards. So what is a choice board? Really, a choice board, honestly, is just a graphic organizer. I mean, that's what it is. And we have beautiful ones, thanks to our friends at IT3, who, our digital innovation team, who actually created the frame for ours. But honestly, they're just a graphic organizer that provides students, activities with a variety of learning tasks for which students choose. Certainly, the tasks that we've chosen on ours are all aligned to grade level standards and to our JCPS curriculum frameworks. And we have a link there to the frameworks. Certainly, choice boards offer students opportunities not only to practice a concept, but to also answer a compelling question or engage in a project-based kind of experience. On our choice boards, you will see that we do have a variety of deeper learning opportunities for our students. We have some PBLs that students can do on their own. We also have Genius Hours. And then, it's left up to the teachers once we post those to be instructed how to choose the activities. I heard from one of the AICs last week that the teachers actually at Fraser Elementary are signing up, and they are actually doing mini lessons around the blocks to support students. So that's just a way that they are actually using the choice board. So basically, it's a graphic organizers for students to use to be able to choose. Why use a choice board? Well, first of all, we use a choice board, to promote choice. Because we know that research tells us that when students have choices about their learning, that enhances their motivation and also the engagement in the classroom. And it also provides teachers opportunities to use differentiated instruction to promote their learning. Again, there's opportunities for students to practice. However, I'm going to be honest, when we just say choice board, it's not an easy task. So you don't just sit down with your little graphic organizer and start, plugging in different activities. It really takes time and consideration so that you are considering the learner and the types of learning experiences that you want your students to have, while also ensuring that they are challenging. We have ensured with our choice boards that in looking at the frameworks, the activities that are on them now should be activities with standards that students have already been taught, because, given students, support at home, we're really trying to gauge those. So students, some of them may have to do them on their own. But really, if you're using the choice boards, I think it's just a great opportunity to improve motivation, and engagement, and really, learning by empowering students to do their best. If you look at the bottom one, the Independent Reading Writing Challenge, that was actually a student design prompt. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see where it was the first week of NTI, which seems like 100 years ago. I was actually able to interview a student about choice boards. And so from that conversation, then she sent us some ideas about choice boards. And so we've actually taken some prompts from hers and used those prompts. So we know that students are enjoying even creating some of their own choice boards out there. What are the benefits of using choice boards? Well, it's the power to choose the how to learn, or for students to demonstrate their learning in a particular subject or concept. We know that in deeper learning, we want students to be able to demonstrate their learning in a multitude of ways, not just on a pencil, or piece of paper. So on our choice boards, we put opportunities to give students multiple ways to demonstrate their learning. Of course, this freedom encourages those students to be more responsible. It holds them accountable, and it also allows them independence in their learning. During the summer, we're going to be offering more professional learning around interdisciplinary choice boards. The CDLI team is currently working on some interdisciplinary choice boards to show you. If you go back and look at Ryan, New, and Suzanne's presentation, they actually have a choice board for high school that's built around compelling questions. But, if you're building an interdisciplinary choice board, what a better way for your team to work together to build an interdisciplinary choice board so that students have greater opportunities to experience deeper learning. It also helps them to develop knowledge, insights, problem solving, self-confidence, and self-efficacy, and really, honestly, a deeper passion for learning. And another benefit for choice boards is students are allowed actually to work on those at their own pace. So just assigning a choice board on Monday and then saying, all of it's due on Friday, really isn't best practice. We want students to use those on their own based on their interests and preferences, so that students are really activated in their learning.
How to design a choice board. It's really important to think about how we might design interdisciplinary around a compelling question or concept, or even around standards. And so it offers a way for students to have a more coherent experience in a way that's learner-centered. And so we've designed activities on our choice boards that are process-oriented, that provide practice, and also that demonstrate mastery. There are some end tasks on there as well. In fact, most of them are performance tasks where students engage in a self-driven process and then have a product to show at the end of it. And so one of the first steps in designing a choice board is coming up with that compelling question or that cross-cutting concept that your teams are going to design around. And then, of course, in any quality backward design, we need to think about what the success criteria are. What are those academic goals? How will we know that students know it? So that should be part of any PLC process. And so once we've come up with those cross-cutting concepts or the compelling question, and we've established the success criteria or those goals, then we want to plan those activities so that students are participating in processes and performances that use a variety of mediums and methods, student choice and agency. And then we also want to ensure that the activities or the processes have different levels of complexity, so that maybe some can be done with complete student independence. Others may need to be facilitated with teachers along the way. And we know that really any good quality task where students are growing and are moving forward probably need teacher facilitation, because if they can do it entirely independently, there probably isn't a significant amount of new learning happening. So we want to have those varying levels of complexity on the choice boards. One of the most important pieces for implementing choice boards is feedback. Just like Susan said a minute ago, we don't want to just assign something on Monday and have students left to their own devices and then ask them to turn it in on Friday. So what we want to ensure is that students are getting feedback via Google Meet, classroom, comments, that they're turning in drafts, that there's teachers' facilitation all along the way. And so we know that descriptive feedback is far more effective for improving student performance and helping them find agency in their own learning than just a letter grade. And so really NTI is a real opportunity for us to grow in our ability to provide quality descriptive feedback, and it's an opportunity for students to really focus on feedback, iteration, reimagining, revising, and that sort of thing. And so the choice board does allow us to have differentiation, like I was saying before, but the primary goal is that we have that teacher facilitation and that teacher feedback all along the way. And then, of course, in terms of grading, we have received guidance from the district and from KDE around grading for middle and high. We're focusing on a met, not met grading system, and then high school has its own considerations that have been released. So the most important part is not the met, not met, but that feedback that students are receiving Monday through Friday all along the way, and that facilitation to help them get to that end goal. So this slide uses a choice board concept to sort of show teachers how they might think about instruction. So choice boards really give examples of tasks and performances and products that we want students to engage in, but they don't offer a lot of guidance on the instructional piece. And so we wanted to share a little bit of the must-do, can-dos in terms of quality instruction as they relate to choice boards. So here you'll see the exclamation points kind of show those things that are non-negotiable instructionally for teachers, and then the hashtags are the can-dos, those ways in which you might deliver quality instruction before students are getting to Friday, getting to that end task or final performance. So, of course, choice boards are inherently built to have student agency. Asking students to complete every item or 95% of the items on a choice board really is eliminating choice and agency. So we want to make sure that students have real choice. Again, that facilitation piece, facilitate with and teach how. So this is where those NTI tools and the virtual learning pieces that our digital learning partners have put together are so important. How could we use Screencastify to record lessons with modeling and close reading and shared writing around those skills that students are going to need to complete the task? Another how-to skill that students are going to need is how to navigate the technology to complete their task. We're asking them to do a Flipgrid, or if we're asking them to use a particular platform or app, we probably need to do a tutorial or a Screencastify that shows students how to integrate those tools with the content that they're learning. We will need to offer scaffolds where needed. Our English learning team has done an excellent job offering EL scaffolds that link right into the choice boards. Those are excellent to help students be able to access, process, and task. And then again, that ongoing descriptive feedback. The hashtags kind of show those things that might really enhance the student experience. Ensuring the small group via Google Meet. It's really challenging, I think, to meet with 30 students via Google Meet, but if we pushed out a Google form where students signed up for a time on a Tuesday or Wednesday, then we might be able to have more effective conversations with students. Offering skills-based lessons and models, success criteria, and then, of course, always asking students to reflect on their learning process is a real advantage to choice board-based instruction. Here, we've put together for you a possible schedule, Monday through Friday, for conceptualizing the instruction from assigning the choice board to collection of the student work. And so you'll see here on Monday, we might post our compelling question choice board in Google Classroom with our success criteria. So students know on Monday what the expectations for the week are going to be. All those assignments are loaded up and ready to drop. Then we would have our recorded lessons ready to go. So if students need a lesson on quadrilaterals, congruent sides or angles, they can go into Google Classroom and click on that little screencastify mini lesson and access that, or even a tutorial on how to use the app, say Khan Academy, to do that quadrilaterals lesson. Those are all there for students to access. Then again, we might host that small group for Tuesday and even into Wednesday, so we know what students' plan is for learning for the week. They're telling us with their own agency what they're going to be working on, what questions they have. We can use those misconceptions and those formative conversations with students to then provide additional lessons on Wednesday and Thursday. We would always want to ensure that we're maybe looking at drafts, that we're checking in with students and having progress checks at least once a week, and that we're providing feedback all along the way. And that then on Friday, given these skills-based lessons, the small group instruction, then they're ready to turn in. But another thing to remember is that sometimes, say the Genius Hours or the project-based learning pieces, or those tasks that require a lot of creative energy from students might be ongoing. A student might take a couple of weeks to complete that task with your facilitation. So this is just a way that you might consider using choice boards as your primary driver, but then this is the instructional layer that we need to have to ensure student success. And with that, I think Susan's going to share some information about our intent and purpose with the choice boards, and then access to them. So go ahead, Susan.
Thank you. So I've talked a little bit about how JCPS has designed our current choice boards, but I'll just go over them. So again, we have designed them to give students choices for up to 2 weeks. And like Suzanne said, the PBLs and the Genius Hour, that could take up to 3 weeks. That's, left up to teachers. Also, again, we've designed them so that students would have opportunities to create artifacts for their backpacks, passion projects, mini PBLs. They're designed pre-K through grade 12. Suzanne also mentioned the ESL and K-5 alternative assessments. Those have just really offered a lot of support and scaffolds for our learners, and we also have gifted choice boards. Gifted choice boards are only on the choice board portal, and then we also have 9 through 12 CTE. So those are our current choice boards, and those are currently how we will continue to design for choice board 4 and choice board 5, and then you can access those choice boards again on the teacher page on the JCPS choice board portal. I'm going to hand it over to Suzanne to tell you about opportunities that CDLI is offering on the Learning channel.
So in the coming couple of weeks, CDLI has worked to design more learning opportunities around inquiry questions involving student agency and all things connected to deeper learning. And so this week we have some great opportunities for you around using hyperdocs in an NTI learning environment. And then I think a really important one for us to consider as we're thinking about interdisciplinary design is how we use compelling and supporting questions to frame and focus learning. So our social studies team is going to be doing that all this week at 11:30. And then next week, we have a math focus, particularly elementary, around deeper learning in math. And then on the week of the 27th, Joe and Maddie and I are pulling together some amazing work that you all are doing during NTI from some different schools. So be sure to tune into that one Monday through Wednesday, the week of the 27th at 1:30, to hear from other teachers, coaches, and your colleagues about some amazing work that's happening across the district and across levels. So we're really excited about that. So I'm going to escape out of this and head over here to the digital learning channel and see if we have any questions It looks like Jenny has been on there, so that's great, answering some of the questions. So it doesn't look like any additional questions here in the chat. Just remembering that we have some great templates available to be sure to access those EL supports. They've been so helpful. And even for students who aren't identified as EL, those scaffolds that they're providing can offer a more independent entry point. So I would suggest even offering those to all students. So we're excited to see folks from across levels here. And it looks like there aren't any additional questions, but please reach out to CDLI. You have any questions around interdisciplinary design, deeper learning, using those NTI resources, and we'll be happy to connect with your PLC, connect with your schools and department teams to help you support delivering feedback, instructional design, and all of those pieces. We're always here to help.
Well, Susan and Suzanne, I really appreciate you joining us this morning. That was some great information for teachers as they're developing their own choice boards. Anything else you want to share before we go ahead and move on?
I think that's it. We just want to also thank you all and your team for being such amazing hosts and all that you've done with your work to help us in supporting the choice boards.
This is a great collaboration between your department and our department. So for those teachers out there wondering how they can go about creating their own choice boards, if you go to the JCPS NTI support Google site, again, you can get there by going to jcps.me/NTI. From there, you can go to the teacher toolkit, which I'm sure has become a frequented place for a lot of people throughout this NTI weeks that we've had. I can't believe 2 weeks have already gone by. But if you scroll down, you'll see where it says Choice Board Portal. And then right below that, you have blank choice board templates. And so those are really beneficial for teachers who are looking to create their own choice board, but they don't really want to create their own template. Those are already there for you. They come in a variety of colors for you to choose from. That way it will fit the style that you like. And our digital innovation leader for Zone 3 schools, Russ Hockenberry, pointed out in the chat that you can actually, if you wanted to create your own choice boards, you could use slides or Google Drawings to do that. So you don't have to use these, but they are there for your use.